Okay, hello. It's Sunday, and so it is time for Tulip Poplar medicine. And today is what many call Easter Sunday. And for those of you who haven't heard a previous video that I did about Tulip Poplar and ordination, I encourage you to listen to it. You can find it on my YouTube channel, I believe, and in a post from a few weeks back on Sundays with Tulip Poplar, because it was on Easter that particular story occurred. And I do find that not only Sundays, but this time of year where so much focus is put on new life and resurrection, it's the perfect time for Tulip Poplar. So today, as a way of keeping with this energy of Easter, resurrection, fertility, new life, part of the medicine of Tulip Poplar that I would like to share with you is Incarnation. For me, the Tulip Poplar has been a tree of incarnation. So as I've worked with this tree, it has helped me to become more fully who I am as a human, more fully human, but also more fully divine, more of who I am as a divine being, a divine soul. It has supported me in embodying my essence. And I think that this is part of the medicine that it has to offer humans at this time. It was so lovely because I was speaking with Lisa, a woman who has created the Soulflower Oracle cards. I love them. She created them and self-published them several years ago, and now she's working with Fine Torn, and it's just a really lovely offering. But she and I were talking yesterday about how the plants have helped us to become human, have helped us to understand what it means to be human. And one of the phrases that I use to speak about the plants is that I will say that they are instruments of incarnation. This is how I've experienced them. And primarily, Tulip Poplar for me has been like this. It has helped me to understand that this body, my human body, is, hey Kennedy, it's a sacred vessel. I was thinking today of the term that in my experience, the Christian scriptures use, I'm sure it's in other scriptures as well, that my body is a temple. Like, to be human, to have this body, to have flesh, it's holy, it's sacred, and it is a container for my soul, for my divine essence. And so Tulip Poplar helps me remember that, to remember that I am a channel, I am a conduit of the divine. I am here to embody my soul, and it helps me to remember what my soul is, who I am in my soul. So sometimes I would sit with the tree, or I would maybe be in journeying in a general way, but the tree would come to me at that time, and it would reveal to me aspects of my soul, aspects of my essence, of my being. So some people may be familiar with the term soul tree, but this idea that you can visit a tree and that this tree is a representation, a symbol of your soul, aspects of your soul. And so when I've visited my soul tree, you know, I feel Tulip Poplar there. It's more than that. It's like this otherworldly tree, but you know, Tulip Poplar is there. And then Tulip Poplar, as I think I mentioned in past videos, will give me keys, and I will open doors to different aspects of myself. So celestial, angelic aspects of myself, multi-dimensional, otherworldly aspects of myself, aspects of myself that are not here in this 3D time and space. This is not where they originated, right? So even for those of you that are open to this idea of past lives here in this, ooh, there we go, this is loose, in this 3D time and space. And then what Tulip Poplar has helped me to do is to realize, remember those parts of my soul, begin to gather them up into this body here and now, and to embody those parts of myself here and now, and to begin to express those parts of me, those divine parts of me here and now. You know, sometimes when I look back at who I was and how I was living and moving through the world before Tulip Poplar, I mean, maybe this is like a little much to say, but I look back and I think to myself, I think I was empty. You know what I mean? Do you ever look back at like past pictures of yourself and you can see in your face or in your eyes that like you weren't there? Like the light's not there. The essence isn't there. But now, oops, sorry, got a little notification. But now, when I look in the mirror, or when I see a picture that someone has taken, or when I just sit and feel me, I'm here. I am here. And one of the really lovely things that Tulip Poplar has done for me, and is a medicine also for others, is that it's helped me to come into my body in spite of trauma. So it is most definitely a medicine for those who have experienced trauma. I think it's in one of Matthew Wood's books. He mentions that Tulip Poplar is a lovely plant for chronic illness, or those who are convalescing after a long period of sickness. And my friend Rebecca Dawn of Mulberry Mud, she's super lovely. You should find her on Instagram. She's really beautiful with her creations. She said to me, what is more chronic than trauma? And she couldn't be more right about that. And what's been lovely for me with Tulip Poplar is that in using it, I was able to process, integrate, forgive past trauma. And then as I was working with it and things were happening in my life that were occasioning more trauma, I didn't leave my body again. You know, like there have been real legitimate reasons in the last several years that I would have wanted to leave my body. And to be honest, I can think of some evenings and some days where I think I really wanted to, but I could feel like the pull and the struggle of like, but I gotta be here. Like I can't leave. There was a desire to be in my body, to be human. And Tulip Poplar made it physically possible for me to do that, and then spiritually and emotionally possible. And part of how I think it did that, I don't know all the ways, is that it never let me forget who I truly am. It never let me forget that. So as I'm experiencing certain things, and you know, with trauma, we can think sometimes this moment is all there is, or what this person is saying or doing is all there is, or somehow our identity can become wound up in that moment or that event that is traumatic for us. But instead, I feel that Tulip Poplar kept helping me to be right here. Like that there was the core golden divine, holy soul part of me that was untouchable. And what I was needing to do was like, like breathe in and expand and feel this body, this human being with that part of me. And so I think that's part of why I was able to stay, because it never let me forget who I truly and really was, and what the truth, if that word's okay with you, of the universe and of reality is. And it's not this moment or this event or what this person is saying or doing. Like the reality and the beauty of things is like the divine, ineffable, expansive, beautiful, multi-dimensional, exquisite love that is my soul. And so I just gather all that up again, gather myself up again, and be in this body. Hey, Jennifer. So I do want to offer Tulip Poplar as the medicine for incarnation, for becoming incarnate, fully human and fully divine. And I think this is a lovely bit of medicine to share on Easter Sunday, because Matthew Wood, one of my primary teachers, said that Tulip Poplar and his experience with it was the Jesus tree. And he connected it to Jesus in a really lovely way by saying that it was for those who felt unforgivable, or felt that something had happened, or they had done or said something about life and persons and experiences was unforgivable. So we can definitely see how that can be connected to trauma. But in my experience with Tulip Poplar, I still love that he calls it the Jesus tree, but I found many more facets and aspects of that with the tree. And part of it is this idea of incarnation, because in the Christian tradition, they will say that Jesus was God incarnate. He was God in the flesh, in human flesh. He was the Son of God. He was fully human. He was fully divine. And there are people, from my past as a pastor's wife, that would be a little concerned with what I'm saying now. But, the Christian scriptures do say that he was the first fruits. He was the firstborn of a new kind of humanity, a new type of human, right? There was the first Adam, and now here he is, the second Adam. And so I think to myself, when they want us to follow in the footsteps of Jesus, when they want us to become one with the Christ, that's what that means. That potential to be fully human and fully divine, or there's this guy, I love how he words this, a fully actualized human. He uses the term Adamite. I really love it. The Christed light. That this is possible for every single one of us. It's why we're here. And I really do believe that at this moment in the history of humanity, in the history of the world, this is more true than ever, and in some ways more possible than ever. So I grew up with this teaching that there would be the second coming of Christ, that there would be the end times, and then this return of Christ. And so, sorry about my phone making little sounds. And so what I've come to believe about this is that this second coming of Christ, this rapture, this ascending where humans have glorified bodies, all of this is us as humans coming to the point in our history, in our development, where we tap into that divine essence, that divine love, and we find the way, hey Lance, and we find the way to become fully human and fully divine and incarnate here and incarnate now. So I know that at this time I most certainly do not perfectly embody the divine love or the divine essence. I cannot yet walk on water, but I do wonder, what will I be like when I'm 80? If I just keep opening myself up to the divine love, to the divine essence, if I just keep saying yes to being here, if I just keep saying yes to embodying my own divinity, if I just keep saying yes to this mission, this call of being human, what's possible. It is interesting because Jesus did say to his disciples after he rose from the dead and was here for those 40 days after, he actually said to them, you are going to do greater things than these, speaking of what he did. You're going to do greater things. Like, you're wowed by me raising people from the dead. You're wowed by how I heal. You're wowed by how I take, I don't know if Jesus used the word wowed. you're impressed, you're awestruck that I take, 2 fish and I feed 5,000 and more. You're going to do greater things than these. So let's just believe that. And let's just incarnate now. Let's do it. So I offer you Tulip Poplar as a medicine of incarnation. You can use a tincture of its inner bark. You can use an essence of its flower. You can simply find a picture of it online and sit with it and listen. You can simply take the words, the phrase Tulip Poplar, and hold it in your heart. Meditate on it. Just say yes and open to it. Maybe you can even ask for it to come to you in your dreams. However, the idea is to meet with the vibration of the tree in whatever way you would like. And I have one other image before I go that I want to share with you. And it is the image of the Tulip Poplar flower. If you look on my Instagram, there's a lot of pictures you'll see of the Tulip Poplar flower. And there's one in particular it's no filter. And it's just this beautiful petal cup of Tulip Poplar with light just coming in right behind it. And so this is what we are. We are literally a cup, a container, a sacred vessel meant to hold and catch and emanate the divine light, the divine essence. This is who we are. And I have a little side story, and there'll be more on this later. A friend of mine, Angel Deer from the sanctuary, shared about how a Lenape woman told him that they create their medicine pouches that hold tobacco in the shape of a tulip poplar flower from the skin of a deer. So the skin of a deer made into the shape of a tulip poplar flower as a sacred medicine pouch to hold the tobacco. And this Lenape woman told him that they do this because they have been taught, they believe that tulip poplar is a plant that can hold this divine sacred medicine, tobacco. And when he told me that, I just got chills. I was like, oh, this is so much that medicine. Because that is our body. Our body, this human body, is a divine container, is a tulip poplar flower that is perfectly fit to hold the divine and sacred medicine, the tobacco, to have that communion with the divine, to offer up the prayers and to receive the messages, right? And you're probably thinking, I don't really feel that way. I feel like a little mess. And this is part of Tulip Poplar's medicine as well, is reminding us that we are indeed a divine conduit and a divine channel. And also it is purifying. It is cleansing. It makes that so. It is. But, we're human. So like I said, I mentioned the trauma and other things that we might experience. And so it makes it so that we have this divine conduit, this channel for the divine light. And so we can fully embody the divine essence that we are and fully incarnate and be here now. So that's my Easter Sunday medicine for Tulip Poplar, the medicine of incarnation, the medicine of the ability to be fully human and fully divine right here, right now. It's completely possible for all of us. Alright, so I'm going to let you guys go, and this will end up on my YouTube channel in the next day or two, and I'd love it if you would find it there and share, or when this finds its way onto my Instagram, share, because this is a medicine I feel that we are so in need of as a human collective at this time. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. I kind of want to sing a song, but I think I should go now. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. Thanks so much for listening.